Hello everyone. So today we are going to start a complete new series on how to work with AI. And in this whole series, we'll be starting with very basics like how AI works and how like different things works inside AI. What are AI skills? How to make agents? How to automate your things? So all these things will be part of this series. So today we are going to start with our first session in which we will be trying to understand what happens when we write ChatGPT a message. So now many of you write ChatGPT a lot of prompts and everything, and you receive the responses. So now in this video, I'm going to tell you in very simple language how all these things work. And whenever you write a question to ChatGPT, how it responds you. So quickly, let's start with the session and let's start. So now, first of all, I'm going to tell you what exactly this diagram is. Now, if you are reading it directly, then it will be sounding you very difficult. But don't worry, just these are terminals and you can say these are terms. But wherever we are going to talk about all these things, everything seems to be very easy for all of you. So now let's start. So if you see, first of all, this is the thing that you need to understand first. If you see here, so whenever you write ChatGPT a message, so let's say if I write ChatGPT a message like explain Python to me. So as soon as I will write this message, explain Python to me, the first thing that ChatGPT will do is it will take this particular thing as a prompt. So whenever you write something, that particular thing is known as a prompt. Now, as soon as you have given the prompt, now this will be treated or this prompt will be treated, you can think of like a instruction that you have given to AI model. So now just think it like you have ordered something from a restaurant. So as soon as you have given the order, so think like order is a prompt. So as soon as you have given the prompt, you have given an instruction to AI that he has, or you can say she has to follow. Okay, now let's try to understand what and how these things are. So now if you see, this is the client side, and client side is basically you. So whenever you are writing on ChatGPT a particular message by opening your mobile application or your laptop, so at the same point of time, the machine in which you are using ChatGPT is client machine or your machine. Now the user is the person who are you are. So you are basically the user of this thing. So now what you do is, as soon as you have given the prompt, this particular prompt is has to flow. Basically, think of this like that if I am giving a question, I need someone to answer that question. So when I say I need someone to answer that question, then that someone is basically, you can say, your OpenAI server or Claude server or any GPT model server, or you can say Chat GPT. So now I have to ask to Chat GPT to give me solution of this. So now I am a client side and I am the person who is using Chat GPT from my mobile. But as soon as I have will drop the prompt, that prompt will flow over the internet to my Chat GPT server, where exactly this all information is saved. So now you can think of that if you are using ChatGPT in India and you are writing a prompt, then that prompt basically over the internet flows to America where ChatGPT servers are there. Now, once this prompt goes to that particular server, it has to follow some routines, which means that whenever you will be writing a prompt, that prompt needs to securely go to the OpenAI server because you are looking for an information from OpenAI. So now at that point of time, if you think of, you need a secure connection, which means that if you're asking something to ChatGPT, now you don't want your things to be out on the internet. So now at that point of time, this particular message or the prompt that you have sent need to flow through, or you can say over the internet in a secure way. So that's why it follows HTTPS request and OpenAI API. So now what is OpenAI API? So your machine or your phone is your machine, and the application that you want to interact to get your answers is basically OpenAI machine. Now if you want to talk with your machine to OpenAI machine so that your request can receive a response, then this process will go through a layer, and that layer is known as OpenAI API. Now, this particular API will judge that whether this person has the limits to ask me a question, or whether this person is an authenticated user or it's a real user. All these kind of things will be checked in our second block if you see network and API. Now, your prompt or your message got reached to the OpenAI server. So now once it reached the OpenAI server, now at that point of time when it reached there, it is in normal English language only that you have given. But now ChatGPT, or you can say these server, does not understand your normal English. They understand something which is mathematics, or you can say numbers. So now at this point of time, let's say if you have written ChatGPT a message, explain Python to me, then the first thing that will happen is this particular sentence that you have given to ChatGPT will be first of all broken into something which is known as tokens. So now don't think that tokens will be complete values like explain and Python and to and me. No, it can be like explain, in, pyth, on, to, comma me. So so basically your normal English sentence that you have given will be broken into this particular, what you say, tokens. Now this is basically tokens. So whenever you heard about this thing, whenever you hear this thing now, okay, your tokens are going to lost and your tokens are going to be over. So these are basically these tokens. So when you, if you, let's say if you have a limit of 1,000 tokens, then if you are writing a message that chat gpt needs to understand, then that particular message will be broken into token. So now if your token limit is coming under that 1,000 limit, then you will be able to get the response. Otherwise you will not be able to get the response. So these are basically tokens. So now your request or your message or your prompt got reached to the server, and now the first thing that happened is it got broken into something which is known as tokens. Now all these tokens, if you see here, all these tokens are basically converted into numbers. So all these values or all these uh, small letters, or you can say words, that got converted into tokens, these tokens will now get a kind of a numerical value. So based on their type, or you can say based on their keywords, they get some mathematical number. So now let's say if I give this an example, then let's say explain that we have written, let's say got a number as 3456. So there is an internal calculation that happens, and that converts these particular tokens into numbers. So now let's say this particular token got this number, same like this. Let's say in token got, let's say, a number 2234, and same like this all will be broken. Now once these values or numbers are broken, after getting broken, they are passed into a particular thing which is known as embeddings. So if you see embeddings is here. So now what is embeddings? So embedding basically converts these particular numbers into mathematical vectors. Now you must be thinking, what is vectors, Durgesh? I don't know. So now let me give you in a very simple explanation. So you can think of like a mathematical representation of meaning, which means that if you have written, let's say, explain, or let me give you a different example. So let's say if you have written something like queen. Now, once it will try to convert this queen, so let's say you have written queen, and if it tries to convert this queen into, let's say queen is a particular token. Let's take an example. Now this token has a number. Now if it wants to convert them into embeddings, or you can say if it wants to convert them into a mathematical meaning, then it will try to segregate all the matching values like this, like let's say king, prince, Or you can say simply you can say that it will have similar math, the all the numbers or the token numbers which are there, wherever a similar kind of pattern is followed, it will try to map all these things in that pattern. Or you can say in simple words, this helps basically AI to understand the relationship between your words. Like all the words or all the tokens that got broken, it helps AI, embeddings basically help AI to understand the meaning of your whole message in a mathematical value. I think you are clear. Now, once this thing is done, once your embedding and everything is done, now you are ready for getting an answer. But before getting an answer, you will be flowing through a concept of context window. Now, this is very important topic, context window. So now what is context? So whenever you write something to AI, at the same point of time when you start your conversation, a context window gets created. Now, this particular context window will be based on the number of tokens. So let's say if you have a context window, let's say in OpenAI, they have 1000 tokens context window, which means that till 1000 tokens, until the 1000 tokens are not expired, all the messages that you are asking to ChatGPT will save them in the memory. Or you can say save them in that particular session memory. And once these tokens will explode to 2000 plus, so at that point of time what will happen is that this context window will change. And if context window will change, then AI will not have that much required information that he had in the original context window, which means that AI, let's say if AI knows 100% in that window, now if that window got broken and you are getting to a different window, then in different window, AI will not have that much information about all the things that you are telling previously in the previous window. So AI will, at this point of time, AI can hallucinate or can give you some different kind of responses. Now, once your context window is defined, and once everything is done, now AI has all the information in that particular window. Now, this point of time, something that works here is known as a transformer. Now you can think of that once this context window till here you are done, now transformer starts working. Now the transformer you can think of, you can say the brain of AI. So transformer is the brain of AI. And this is basically called transformer model. So now let me give you an example. Or you can say that the real magic that happens to convert your questions into answers happens with the help of transformer. So now let's take an example. So now if you see here, once this transformer started working, the model looks at every word that you have asked. So now model has the values of your words in the form of number and it is running that mathematical model. But at the same point of time, the model looks every word that you have asked. Now it is understanding it in the form of numbers only, but it will understand what all you have written. Now let's take an example. You have written something like explain Python loops in simple language. Let's say you have written this much and this much was your prompt. So at this point of time, after embeddings are done, after context window is planned, now transformer, the brain of AI, will try to do something which is known as self-attention. So now what it will do is, let's take an example. If it got this particular question, then model will realize that, or you can say the model will realize it something like this. Python is important. Loops is important. Simple language is important. Or you can say that in this self-attention period of AI tries to understand that whatever user has written in the context or in the chat, that needs to be mandatory in the answer. Something like that you can say. So that's why it is known as self-attention. Now, once the self-attention period overs, now the information is passed through many layers, or you can say here the exact, you can say a kind of a network system is made, which is known as deep neural network. Or in simple words, you can say that think it like the layers of multiple expert teachers. Let's say teacher 1 understand basic meaning, teacher 2 understand relationships, teacher 3 understand intent, teacher 4 practice best responses. So now all these kind of things, you can say that whenever you have asked this and whenever ChatGPT understood that you are asking this particular thing, it will go through multiple processes, or you can say multiple repetitive processes, where it will understand things on different parameters, or you can say it will try to understand your asked message in different parameters, so that it can give you the closest solution. Now, chat gpt, if you in simple way, in simple words, if I say what is chat gpt, then chat gpt is basically a kind of next word machine. Now, what I mean by next word machine, so ChatGPT basically does not create the whole answer once. So let's take an example. If I have written a loop is a way in Python to iterate. So let's say ChatGPT has given this particular answer of your chat, where you have asked loops. Now, at this point of time, when you have asked this particular thing, the solution or the answer that ChatGPT is generating for you is something like this. It will take A and it will try to understand the next word, what it can be. It can be loop, or it can be Python, or it can be is, or it can be a, or it can be very. And once it will do all these kind of iterations, it found out that loop will be the perfect word. Now after loop, it has to again check, so is, not, then it will realize that is the perfect word. So the answer that you are getting, chat gpt is trying to predict that answer in the closest way. So that is something that is happening internally in chat gpt servers. So that's how it is giving you. It is not giving you something in magic. It is trying to understand, it is trying to calculate, it is trying to understand the mathematical, it is running the whole mathematical model for you with all the words in the form of numbers, so that it can give you a proper response. Now, once this particular predicting machine is starting predicting and prediction is happening, at the same point of time, after this prediction happens, this particular thing is sended into logit. Now, what are logits? So you can say for every next word, the model calculate scores. So I told you now that here it tries to generate the words. So it can generate multiple words, but how it will decide that this will be the perfect answer? A loop is a way of Python to iterate. So to get on this particular state that this is the perfect answer, it has generated multiple next words or multiple next words again and again. Now at this point of time, it will convert them into logits. Now what are logits? Logits are basically the scores. So let's say if ChatGPT has scored, if ChatGPT have scored along with A, if it has scored Python, or along with A, it has scored loops, or along with A, it has scored, let's say, uh, iterate. So if these three words it have, like you can say, generated or predicted for the for completing the sentence, so at that point of time, these logics will give all these particular generations a score. Let's say this particular line, a Python is getting 60% score. A loop is getting 98% score. So based on this score, it will take the most important one and it will arrange it. And after this thing is done, then sampling will done. Like it will try to understand the samples, like what kind of answers you have asked, and all those samples it will try to understand to give you the perfect answer. And it will be running multiple samples. And once these samples are done, and once the answer is approved, it will detokenize it. So when I say detokenize, then it will try to basically convert all your tokens or your back tokens or your respond tokens, which are basically numbers that I have told previously, and it will try to generate it into a simple English or a language in which you have asked. And at this point of time, when it is going to give you these answers, it will try to do a security check whether these answers are coming in the compliance and all. So if you have asked something which is wrong, it will not give you. It will generate, but it will not give you. So all those kind of things are done. So this is how the whole chat GPT, or you can say any LLM model, works when you ask a question from it. So that's all for the video. I hope you understood the video. If you like the video, do like and do subscribe my channel. And in the next video, we are going to start with a very important concept, and that I'm going to tell you in the next video only. So thank you so much and goodbye.